Well, Coach, I mean, what do you just talk to your team about how that's an example of when your shot's not falling, you can win with defensive rebounding?
Yeah, I do think that defensively the game played the way we thought. We felt like we could defend their early action and then become a very heavy ball screen game, which it really turned into that. And offensively, you know, we weren't very efficient. Jordan Bowden missed 2 wide open layups. Olivier had a dunk, but Josiah threw the ball so hard. I mean, Fred Bolitnikoff wouldn't have caught it, you know. And then free throws, not a great job there, but just we weren't very good on offense. But defensively, we did do some good things, and we've got to just get better offensively. We didn't. The ball stuck. When you play against a team that's going to come in and sag, which they didn't, they did exactly what we thought they would do and hoped that we would settle. But we didn't move the ball. We held the ball, too slow getting into actions, didn't finish cuts, and we've got to get better on the offensive end.
You like what you got on the glass tonight from Jordan Bowden, Josiah James?
Yeah, our guards have rebounded for us. They do. They come down, and we need it. We need to, you know, we talk about rebounding, gang rebounding and going to get it, and our guards did a good job with that. And, and I mean, Lamonte did a good job distributing the ball. He took some shots that he should have had more assists. And but the fact is, again, we just got to get better offensively, and there were some good things, but not enough good ones.
What have you seen from Ticket and Drew to get them first half minutes?
Just really practice and starting to play their role, you know, and trying to do some things, and that's what they need, and that's the most disappointing thing. I mean, if you make those layups, if you just make the layups and get the lead to 20, those guys get more minutes, and we all know that, but we didn't, and you got to give them credit. They kept hanging in there, but we were sloppy on offense, and I don't want to take anything away from Chattanooga because I think they're really well coached, and I think he's done a good job in a hurry getting the kind of guys that start building the program that he wants, but we weren't. We were just very sloppy. Even at the end of the game when he went with a little pressure, it wasn't like it was that much, and we were just throwing the ball to throw it and not playing with any purpose.
Rick, Lamonte shot 4 of 16 tonight, but he had a 12-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. What'd you make of his performance, particularly as like a point guard?
Well, I think he should have passed it a few more times. You know, and there's no doubt John Fulkerson's got to touch the ball more. I mean, he's got to do it. Those guys, they have a right to miss some shots too. And Fulke's got to get it some more, you know, more than he does. And we think Olivier can, even Eve. I mean, Eve can score there, but he's got to. It goes back to those guys fighting for their position. It goes back to those guys getting it and acting like they really want it is a big key part of it. But Lamonte, the game, he sees it. He's a terrific passer. You know, he really is. And if those guys will move quicker, I think he will get them the ball more. But tonight, the slip was there. You know, they made that first. They were chasing and not showing, and we were getting those little mid-range jumpers that we like. They adjusted and started showing, and those slips were there the second half, and I think we got a couple of them, but we could have had it every time. And our post guys weren't recognizing as much as we were talking about it.
Rick, right here. On a night like tonight when the shots aren't falling, I mean, just how important is what John Fulkerson does in terms of just affecting the game with his effort, his hustle? I mean, just how important is he?
He's important. He's become a very good guy. He's learning. You know what he's learning how to do a lot is talk. I mean, you can hear him out there talking. He used to wouldn't say a word. He does a good job in his ball screen coverage for the most part. Again, none of us are perfect, but he's really working at it, getting out there. He likes to run. He likes to get out in the open court and run, but you're not going to run if you don't think you're going to get it. And that's where we got to against a team like that. We should have been passing the ball down the floor a lot more than we were, getting it to come back, getting the defense to start looking around different ways. But we were just ball stopping it too much, staying in one guy's hand. But Fulke, his energy, I mean, that's what he's about. And I expect him to get – this is going to be a big weekend for him because he's going to go up against some guys in there that are going to really challenge him.
Coach, back here, right here.
Where
Camera right
okay,
here.
okay.
Okay. Right here. You mentioned the sloppy offense on your part, but what impressed you from the Mocs defense tonight?
Well, I tell you what impresses you is sometimes you don't have to guard anybody and they can't make a shot. And they were back in there. I mean, they were going to make us shoot certain guys. They were going to let you hope you shot it. And honestly, it can be difficult if you make it difficult, which we did because we were not moving the ball the way we needed to. We weren't finishing cuts, and we had chances early to get some really nice back. We were coming off some back screens, but we didn't finish our cut to the rim. But they were just going to stay in front of us. That was their whole deal. And getting fouled, getting to the foul line in the second half was a big thing. Getting there with 12 minutes to go is always a big thing. But they were just really playing a contained, packed defense.
0 fast break points tonight. What was Chattanooga able to do to limit y'all there, and how much of a concern is that going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, there's some teams that play like this every night. I couldn't, you know. I mean, I say that. Think about it. It was a low-scoring game, and you get in those kind of grinding type games. But the fact is, like I said, we'd have won the game by 20. We'd have just made the layups we're supposed to make. But teams, if they know you're going to run, you can stop a team from running by just simply getting 5 guys back and not turning the ball over and not taking bad shots. If you do those 3 things, it's hard to run on anybody, regardless of what they do. But we didn't have any. We were solid, really solid defensively, but we didn't have any deflections. Deflections normally turn into baskets. We were, and again, you got to give them credit for taking care of the ball, but we didn't break it loose like we needed to. And when your guards are rebounding, that also means they're down there at the basket the way they are, and they've got to push it out and go. But we're gonna play in all different kind of games, and this is one that you play in. And again, we won the game, and again, but I will go back to those missed layups that we had. You got to make those, and there's no excuse not to.
Rick, when you were recruiting John Fulkerson, what was it about his game that caught your attention, and where's his development now compared to maybe where you thought it would be at this point in his career?
Well, when we recruited him, we thought he was the best player in that class. And if you go back to one of his first couple games, we go to North Carolina, he was the best player on the floor. And then he came back and broke his elbow, wrist, all that stuff. And he didn't get to do anything for 9 months. And in that period of time, Grant Williams and all these other guys developed, and he just took a attitude like he really upset me one day. He said, "It's not my role." I said, "It is your role to come back and want to be a starter and do that because you're capable of doing it." He felt like he had to just be a role player, and it bothered me that he took that attitude. And obviously, he knows now that he's got to do the things that we expected him to do that he was doing as a freshman. And he's capable of doing it. And like I said, he's gotten so much better talking. He can score the ball if he gets it where he wants it, and that's what he has to work at it, getting it where he wants it. And he's become a better free throw shooter. But for us, you go back, we couldn't play through Grant Williams for a couple of years because he wasn't a very good free throw shooter. At the end of the game, if you're missing free throws and or not getting the shots up that you need, that turns into turnovers. And so he's got to become a big-time free throw shooter for us because we can get him the ball and he can make something happen.
Rick, late in that first half, you ran with kind of a 3-forward lineup. Did you like what you saw from that group, and do you think it's a group you can use more of?
What group?
When you use 3 forwards, when you're using Drew, John, and the other one, Olivier.
Drew's getting better. There's no doubt he is getting better. He's got terrific instincts. He still has to understand the speed of the game, and he's got to understand there's no stoppage in terms of going from one play to the next play to the next play. He has a tendency to stand up and play catch-up, whether he's coming from the backside of our defense or on the ball. But he's long. He's still learning how to use his length. He's got his hands on a couple of balls tonight that where he didn't get the rebound, but he was right there with it. And he's going to get better. Drew's a guy, he's got terrific instinct. He's a great passer. The pass he threw Bowden was as good a play as we've had all year. Bowden just missed the layup. You can't get a better – that was a great pass. He put it right where it needed to be, and Bowden missed a point-blank layup. But Drew can pass the ball. And I expect him and Tickett and those guys and Olivier to get – better and better. What they have to learn, all 3 of those guys, or I'd put a couple more guys in that category, is when things aren't going well, you still have to do, like we put Olivier in and took him right back out because the ball was right there in front of him. He didn't make a play on it because I don't think he felt like he was doing some other things, but there's certain things that you have to do, and the best way to get them to do it, if they don't do it, you let them sit there and think about it.
Rick, on Zach Kent, what went into the decision for him to leave? What were those conversations like? And is there a chance he returns to Tennessee?
No, I don't think that. He just felt like he needed to step away from basketball. That's what he felt like. And whatever Zach decides to do, we're going to support him, but he just felt like that's what he needed to do, to step away from it. All right, thank you, guys.